All right, so this is everything gotten from the York Revolution on July 17th, 2025. So you can see we have a decent amount of stuff here. Let's start with, I don't know why I'm showing this. This is your very, very standard thank you bag that the store uses, and we're done with that. But, um, yeah, so there's actually a decent amount of stuff here. Here is the Souvenir Cup, York Revolution. Nice sunset in the background, a little drone shot. Looks like Wellspan Park, which is a different name than what I remembered as 6 years ago. The last time I was there, it was People's Bank Park at the time. And I will say this is just kind of paper. It's kind of like a one-use sort of cup. So, um, ironically, though, the plastic reusable cup that I got 6 years ago, I noticed they were still using as the cup to hold the straws, which I thought was funny. That the one that I recognized from 6 years ago was still being used somehow. And also, it depends on who you get, I guess, obviously, but be careful if you go for a souvenir cup there because they might start filling a generic Pepsi cup instead. Because my experience is they didn't have a thing on the board specifically for souvenir cups, but I saw a whole stack of them, so that's how I ordered it. And I guess technically you order by size, and that includes like jumbo is what this size is. But I ordered it like, hey, can I have a souvenir cup? And then she starts filling it in just a generic Pepsi cup. It was like, I'm sorry, I wanted, this, the souvenir cup. And she's like, oh, it's the same. It's not the same. It's a Pepsi cup versus something that has like a logo on it. But yeah, so just be careful with that. Um, it was just a weird experience. I've never had that happen, that kind of thing happen before, where it's like, oh, it's the same. No, it's not. But anyway, and then I had a weird store experience too, but that's a longer story that I won't get into. But some of the I'm not dogging on anyone, but some of the people there, in my experience yesterday, were just strange. But anyway, where do we start? I'm gonna get into these last. Here's a roster for both teams. They do have a customer service desk with a nice little sign that says "Ask about roster and stat sheet." It's not really on display like some places have, but there is a sign that says "Ask about it," so I did, and so I got one, which is cool. Here's the physical ticket, which, as you can see, is partly very faded already after one day. The back, the ad is completely fine. Oh, thank God. But yeah, so anyway, the story behind this is it was in my pocket. But if you can see through the fadeness, it is free because one thing that's really cool that York does is every Thursday you can bring in non-perishable food items, donate it to a food bank, basically take it to the ticket office, and they will donate it to a food bank. And in exchange for those food items, you get a free ticket. So that is where a physical ticket came from. But obviously, on a 90 plus degree day, it was sitting in my pocket all day, and it's barely readable especially at the bottom. But you still see High Point in York, and you can make out the date a little bit. So it's not all bad. It's a physical ticket. But anyway, that's that. There is a lot of free stuff. Hardee's, for example. I forget what they had to do. I guess it was just a home run. This home run of a deal can be redeemed at any location in York, Adams, Cumberland, Dolphin, Lebanon, and Franklin counties. Valid until September 30th at Hardee's. So the RBI guy, that's okay. That's I guess what it is. A certain guy had to get an RBI, and he did it like within an inning or two. And then you got the Hardee's coupons. Also, that picture is stretched. um, and then there was this one as well. Um, does it say what they had to do here? I forget maybe this was a home run. I really don't remember. It doesn't say what they had to do in this one, but this is a Papa John's coupon for free 10-inch cheese sticks. So basically, you get a lot of free stuff if you go to York, potentially. Like I said, I went on a Thursday, got a free ticket to the game, and just by being there, got free coupons for Hardee's and Papa John's. Now, York is 2.5 hours away from me, so these will never be used. But if you are local, that's a hell of a deal, especially if you go on a Thursday where you can get a free ticket by donating like $2 cans of soup or something, you know? And also, I thought these were coupons at first. These are just ads for upcoming games. But also, even though it's an ad, if you go to Sheets, you can get 2 free tickets to a specific game here. And I know there's other ones like that too. So, yeah. So, they have hell of a deal in York. This is just the parking ticket. The main parking lot is like across the little, is it a river or a creek, or there is a body of water that you have to cross over a bridge, and it's at a small athletic field, as it says. $5 parking. That's really all that was. Pocket schedule, which again was in my pocket all day, so it's a little bit worn down after me having it for one day. So what, I got it like 10 a.m. The game ended, the second game, the doubleheader, second game ended at like 5 to 5:30. So, yeah, I guess this is as far out as it goes. So, anyway, there's the stadium, ways to order, and then there's your schedule, team store, stuff, and there you go. So we have a free program here as well, Revolutionary Times. I don't remember if I got one or if it existed back in 2019, but I have one here now, which is cool. I really haven't looked too much into this. It's kind of a newspaper type material. Park policies. I don't imagine there's a ton of stuff in here, just given it's a free program. Not dogging on it, but you know, that's just the nature of most free programs. Although there is an article here. Scorecard, revolutionary tic-tac-toe, everyone. And roster. Oh, more Hardee's coupons. Again, if you live in the area. Checkers is also, so York is only 2.5 hours away, but as far as food options, it's like a whole nother world. They have Hardee's out there, they have Primanti Brothers, they have Cheddar's, they have Checkers, they have Sheets, but so does all Pennsylvania. I don't have to quite go that far for Sheets, but like, you know, it's a whole nother world. It's not overly far away, but it's food options. It's a whole nother world out there. What else? They have Royal Farms. If we're sticking on the topic of convenience stores, that's like a lower mid-Atlantic thing, like Maryland, Virginia area. And so yeah, that's your free program. As you can see here, we have 2 media guides. I got this from the store. This is what I bought in between games. Did not expect them to have 2024 because it's not listed at all online. And also the weird thing is 2025 is listed, but it's listed as out of stock. But there is at least 4 copies in the store. So that goes to show you, you got to check physically in the store, even if it says out of stock online, because, you know, there's no trace of this if you look online, but I think I got the last one. So anyway, 2024. Oh, and it, you know, I've shown this off 6 years ago, but just in case, it has been a long time. That's the hat. That's their normal hat. I tried looking for the hat that they wore in game 1, which is like an alternate, but that really is out of stock. I actually did find it online on their store online, but it said out of stock, and I can confirm in person that it was out of stock. Their hat selection at that time that I was in there was not very great, to be honest. There's like 2 real hats that are actually, you know, what they wear in the field, and they are both alternates. One of them was the Hispanic heritage sort of thing, and the other was just, you know, a random alternate. But yeah, I mean, even like the hat I just showed you, which is their primary, the one that I got back in 2019, that, you know, their main hat is nowhere to be found. So, anyway, as you can see here in the media guide, we're going through the roster here. So anyway, I feel like I'm being overly negative today. I'm really trying not to be. I'm just explaining my experiences. And I did not have a bad time whatsoever. But there was just a lot of strange and off things that happened in York is all. There were some really good people there too. The mascot kept hanging around us in the second game because there was barely anyone there for the second game of a doubleheader in 90-degree heat. The ushers were extremely nice, you know. There is some guy in the store who is not an employee, just like ripping out batteries from fans for some reason. No clue why. And yeah, so here, as you can see in the media guide, I think we're looking at records, day by day records. Yeah, so this is basically the result of every game they've ever played, really. And we're going backward in time. So we're all the way in 2012, 2011, 2010. And these pages are getting harder and harder to flip. 2009, 8, and you know, so on. They start in 2007, so that was the last one. Now we have the all-time roster here. Ah, come on, pages. Sorry, I am not trying to be silent now. I'm just trying extremely hard to flip pages, which keep getting stuck together. And so we're on to individual batting records here, career batting leaders, single season batting leaders. I might just skip a few pages here because this is if pages get stuck together, I might just skip pages here and there because it's getting frustrating trying to flip to every single one when they keep getting stuck. We are on page 125 at this point, by the way. So, anyway, as you can see, it is very, very statistical based, as most media guides are. But, yeah, it's a lot of, I wouldn't say, I don't know if I'd call it nerdy, but like I said, I guess just a lot of stat-based things. Whereas, you know, something like Major League, well, I shouldn't even say that. Any, like, even the minor league ones I picked up just don't seem to be this, I don't even know what word to use. Yeah, they're just different. You know, they seem more reader friendly, we'll put it. The other ones do. I don't know. Like with this, you flip to a random page and it's just like a long list of, you know, stats and stuff. You know, you have to actually know what you're looking at to understand it, sort of deal. But you know, like I've gotten media guides from Altoona and Richmond, and they're a lot more easy to digest and figure out. And of course, Major League ones are too. Like I recently got one from Philly. How was there a blank page there? And as a reminder, because we've been doing this for a while, just flipping through, hey, we're on to something I find really interesting. The other teams. But anyway, what I was saying is, as a reminder, this is 2024. We are currently looking at here. I always forget that's a Lexington logo. That's just, I don't know, that's just hard for me to comprehend. I don't know why. I rarely see that Lexington Legends logo. This date in, okay, that's kind of interesting. Stuff that happened on specific dates. 1884. Well, I know they did have old, very old teams back in the 1800s and 1900s. All the way, I don't want to misspeak here because it's been a while since I've brushed up on my history of York baseball overall, but I believe at least into the 1960s. They had teams, the White Roses or something. Unfortunately, we have some memoriam type things down here. One of them is Brooks Robinson from a couple years ago. Ryan Miner and Ronnie Garcia. Garcia is the most recent. The other two were 2023. Wellspan Park First. 2007 versus the Newark Bears. And we have finished one of two. And there's last year's schedule if you care about last year's schedule. One thing I noticed, just comparing, obviously they're going to be slightly different, but I noticed this one has like all the logos and the new one from this year doesn't. So anyway, for 2025, we'll just start on the back because I'm already there. You see the championship logo. That's one thing that I tried looking for. And I guess at this point in the season, all the championship merch is sold out, which isn't completely unexpected. That part didn't completely surprise me. It is July. But that was one thing I was looking for if they had it, and they did not. But like I said, that's not something I really expected to find necessarily. Wasn't in full shock when they didn't have any championship merch left. They did have like stickers and stuff like that. Maybe a magnet. I don't remember exactly what was there, but that type of small stuff. Preseason roster. Oh, the pages seem to get better when you got more toward the back of the last one, but now we're back to the front. What is this guy wearing? He has a full Mets uniform, this guy. Sorry, I get interested in what teams people have been on. How high did this guy make it in at least a double A? I don't see triple A, I don't think. Triple A with the St. Louis system, though, not with the Memphis system. Anyway, sorry, moving on. I try not to do that, but I got sidetracked by the fact that even in this picture, he had a full Mets uniform on. This guy's a full Braves uniform, but it's the Rome Braves. Wait, sorry. Have I seen this? I saw the Rome Braves back in 23. Miguel Pena. To look at that. So I saw the Rome Braves. I went there purposely, knowing that they were changing their name soon. So I went to go see the Rome Braves in their last week of being called that. Was Pena there? I don't remember. So now we're on to the stats portion. Highs and lows. And here we are, the day-by-day stats, as they call it. So basically, as I said in the last one, like basically the results of every game ever, which honestly, I do find really interesting. I see Camden in there. Yeah, I'm not gonna look at every single thing, but when I really am able to get a good look at these, I kind of want to go through the day-by-day stats. I think that'd be interesting. And obviously, with some of this, you're going to have a lot of crossover when it comes to stats and stuff. Obviously, this is, for the most part, all going to be the same, the day-by-day stats, because, nothing changed. The year's already passed. Yeah, we'll just skip that page. I clearly skipped a page there, but I couldn't get it open. Yeah, so we're running on 21 minutes, so it's one of those videos. I'm almost definitely gonna put this in the second game, because the second game was the shorter of the two. The first game I feel like just went so long without an outro. Without an outro, the first game is gonna be a decently long video. Okay, I had this page too, and it's stuck on me. Just to have something to talk about here. I was saying that I felt like I was being overly negative before, and I generally do hate to be negative. I hate feeling like I'm being like negative Nancy over here. But I will say, I watched back part of the part of the broadcast of these games already, and apparently I am not the most negative person, because there was some woman that apparently called in complaining about the broadcast, and basically basically was complaining about how negative one guy was, and she used the word like disdain, I think, and then he just kept saying it over and over the entire rest of the broadcast, and I thought that was hilarious. And she didn't give a name, so he just gave her the name Karen. I don't know. Yeah, I would never call in to complain about something as like stupid as that. Like, you can have your opinions, you can not like people, but it's like, what compels you to like call in about that? Like, what are they gonna do? They're not gonna fire someone because one person does not like them, Like, I don't understand what that thinking is. Anyway, moving on. I'm just trying to make myself feel better, because I genuinely hate being negative. And, sometimes I catch myself being negative when I never try to be, but I catch myself, and then I feel bad about it. Because I try to be fair. I genuinely like York. I did have a good time. I just had some strange experiences. So, yeah. And it was all like employee experiences. And again, it's nothing necessarily wrong. It was just, they didn't, yeah. They just, why were they there? I'm not complaining about the cup thing anymore either. I kind of complained about that as a joke. But like, yeah, the store, I had some experience with the store that was very odd. Besides the guy ripping out batteries, there's just someone there that, like, employee wise, that just had no clue what was going on. I was standing in line for like 20 minutes. Anyway, so yeah, all of this is pretty much the same. And there we go. We've reached the back. So anyway, I apologize for me potentially being all ranty, and maybe you don't even think it's that big of a deal, but like I said, I genuinely hate, being negative toward anyone or anything. So I just feel bad about that all of a sudden. But anyway, that is it for me. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all later. Oh, and also there was this on the way out. They just had a giant bag of popcorn that they're giving away for free. Otherwise, they're probably going to throw it out. So we're, lucky enough to get this. I say lucky. We're maybe one of 25 to 50 fans left. But there we go. We have this giant bag of popcorn completely free heading out the gate at the end of the day.